Hello and welcome to GreenFleet Talks. My name's Kate Armitage and I'm your host for our discussion today. Now, I am delighted to be joined by Richard Taylor, who is Business Development Director for Europe for Jifeline Networks.
Perfect.
Hi, Richard. Very nice to meet you. We've not spoken before.
Good morning, Kate. Hi, lovely to meet you, and thank you for giving the opportunity to do this podcast.
Well, it's a pleasure. And in fact, Richard, I know very little about Jifeline Networks or the services that you offer. So I'm looking forward to this. I'm very intrigued. Do you want to just give me a very high-level overview of your services and the work that you're doing with fleets?
Yeah, I'd love to. So you're not unique, by the way, Kate. There's many people out there who don't actually know that much about Jifeline or Jifeline Networks. Probably one of the best kept secrets in the motor industry. Mainly because the solution that we provide is normally white labeled by other organizations, and they utilize our hardware and our software solution to provide their own remote diagnostics service. A little bit about Jifeline. So Jifeline was created in 2012. It was born out of another business that we have as part of our family, which is called Carlock Systems. And the owners of the Jifeline business realized that actually if you can code keys remotely, then there's actually other things that you can do as a remote service. So they started this journey in 2012. 2015, they launched the business and started to create this network of partners, hence the Jifeline Network name. And that has steadily grown over the last kind of 11, 12 years into now something that's effectively market leader for Europe. It's successful in terms of having won awards. So we won the Automechanica Innovation Award in 2018. So that's a big feather in the business's cap. And we've won various awards since then, both within the Netherlands and actually here in the UK. And that's really about the infrastructure of our solution and how our solution works, and the solution and how that's providing all of our partners with the ability to service their customers wherever those customers may be. A little bit of stats. Everyone loves the stats, so let's go into some stats. We've now got more than 130 partners. They are around 23, 24 countries where they're based, but they're servicing people across about 52 countries at the moment as we speak. The network is growing. Almost every month we get new partners on board, and we're working across pretty much every European country now in one way, shape or another. We do have our own remote diagnostics support team as well, which is based in the Netherlands. They're called Jifeline Remote Diagnostics. Although that's not a solution that we sell here in the UK, they support our existing partners with a expert sort of remote backup service through our outsource function that we have within our dashboard.
Okay, Richard, I'm really starting to get a feel for this whole world of remote diagnostics and workshops, which is great.
Yeah.
And I can see cars are becoming more complicated. Fleets are becoming more diverse. There's so many different vehicle types on the road. It does make sense to have this remote access because it gives you that kind of wider knowledge and insight when you're looking at these vehicles. So can you just go into a little bit more detail about how that works and how you access your experts?
Yeah, I mean, you're completely right, Kate. I think we see every single, week, month that vehicle technology is expanding. And that's there for the right reasons. Everyone talks about why a car's becoming more complex. But if you look at why these technologies are built into these cars, it's about pedestrian safety. It's about driver safety. It's about, driver to driver accidents. It's about all the things that they're trying to remove. And that's a great thing, let's be honest. So this technology that's put in cars now, it's really important that we, as an industry, ensure that the technology that has been put into a car is always maintained to ensure that that vehicle continues to perform the way in which it was designed. I think most people now have a car that has some kind of technology, be that pedestrian avoidance or anti-braking, or even if it's just sensors to pick up the car in front. There's so much technology now built into cars. And the more technology, the more complex it becomes. The more technology, the harder it becomes to keep up to date with the technology. So we need to ensure as an industry, and this is something that Jifeline is leading with, that everybody that touches that car, no matter where that technician happens to be, they actually understand that vehicle enough to be able to ensure that when they do the work that's carried out on that car, that car is then back in the state it was in prior to accident, windscreen replacement, part replacement, whatever it may be, to ensure that it's going to carry on doing what it was designed to do. I think we've all probably in our cars that have technology in probably experienced the technology working. I know I have numerous times in my car that used to break for me. I shouldn't admit that on tape, but let's be honest, I have. But we also drive our cars in that logic. We know that car's been designed to do A, B, or C. And if it doesn't, the first time you know it's not going to do that is when you're actually then involved in some kind of accident because your car hasn't braked, because it doesn't recognize the car in front. So, I think it's really important. This is where the Jifeline infrastructure comes into play. Because of the way our system has been built and the solution and the cleverness in terms of how they've integrated our partners. And as I've mentioned before, over 130 partners, we have the ability within the system to be able to send a job to the right technician for the right type of job. So our partners, of course, will buy into our solution. They'll buy the hardware and the software solution to manage their customer base. But then you've got to think about, does that technician that's at the end of the line, does he have the knowledge to be able to do whatever the requirements are on that particular vehicle? And 9 times out of 10, they do. And that's great, right? So we have some excellent partners that we work with today that support us and we support them. But there are always jobs that they, for whatever reason, cannot do. They may not have the right OE tool. They may not have the right knowledge. They may not have the expertise that needed for that particular car and that particular job. So within the Jifeline system, we have what we call an outsource option, an outsource function. And that simply allows our partners to utilize other partners' technicians as and when required. So we lovingly call it an ecosystem. That's a really good buzzword in the industry, but it's an ecosystem that we've created. That means that I can sit here as a technician and look after one of my customers' cars, but if I can't do the work or I don't have the right tool to do the job, I can effectively send that to a technician in any other country, any other partner who has the knowledge and experience to do that job for me. So what we're effectively doing is we're ensuring that we are always providing our partners with the ability to access the right technician for the right vehicle.
So, and this is really effectively a kind of virtual workshop. So your physical workshop is great, but at times when you need something else, you can go much wider and look at this virtual workshop.
And that's a great way of looking at it. And actually, I might use that. I might coin that in some of my future presentations. But you're right. And that's effectively, we see that the Jifeline solution is the kind of the get out of jail free card for most body shops, service centers, windscreen companies, partners, etc. They will do 9 times out of 10. They'll use their own solution that they have in-house that they've bought, be it a diagnostics kit from some provider. They'll use that for most of their work. The Jifeline system steps up when they don't have the right tool to do that job or the right knowledge. So really, it's that kind of safety net that allows them to be able to, carry out whatever's required on that vehicle in a comfortable way of knowing that they, will have the ability to do that correctly as per requirements.
Great. Okay. Now, of course, this is GreenFleet. We're very fleet focused. When we talk about workshops, a lot of our fleets have their own in-house workshops, so they could become a partner in your network.
Yeah, 100%. So the beauty of the Jifeline solution is many people use it in different ways. So we have people that simply just sell devices and then just outsource tickets to the right person. That's a simple, logical way of doing it. But as far as the fleet sector is concerned, we are conscious that actually the fleet's vehicles can be used effectively 24/7. You think about the airport industry where the cars are being used when someone gets off a plane. The fleet needs to know that that car is in the right state to be used when that customer then wants to take that vehicle having landed from whichever country they come in from. So the only way to know that really is to be able to scan that vehicle using the right tools. Now, it's an expensive business to be able to have all the right tools in all the right locations. So if you're a large fleet operator and you work in every airport in the UK, as an example, having access to the right tool, be it held centrally, can effectively help them manage their fleets 24/7. And that's what we have started to promote as a business, is this 24/7 operation. And again, that's something that we believe is required. No fleet wants their vehicles to be sitting in their yard, not being able to be used, because that has some kind of fault on it that they can't fix for whatever reason that may be. So so they can either use the solution as an in-house solution themselves, so they can manage, they could put all of their OE tools in a central location. Each of their sites could have effectively one of the Jifeline devices that plugs into the car. And then all they're simply going to do is just submit that job from that car to the technician that sits remotely. And then that technician takes over managing that vehicle to ensure that that car then goes back on the road as quickly as they possibly want it to be.
Great.
But they can also provide the solution themselves as a business. So they can effectively create their own diagnostics business, a remote business, and they could then go to market and sell that to any other fleet operator, any other service center, body shop, windscreen company, whoever it may be. And because they become a partner, they become part of the ecosystem, which means that their technicians then become available for other partners to be able to utilize. So not only is it about managing their work in-house, it's also about the ability to be able to make more money by utilizing their technicians for other work that happens within this ecosystem that we have across pretty much every part of Europe.
It's really smart, Richard. Such great use of resources.
Yeah.
And as you say, a potentially new income stream. So in a nutshell, you're keeping vehicles safe, you're keeping them on the road longer, and it's an opportunity to expand revenue streams and at the very least upskill your own workshop staff.
Yeah, and actually, to a certain degree, with the fear of saying downskilling, we can also downskill, because plugging a device into a car and submitting a job is not a skilled technician requirement. Okay, so we've got some of our partners who actually they utilize some of their lesser skilled technicians to do that job and submit the job, and it's a web-based solution to a team of technicians that are upskilled. So they have that ability to be able to kind of work out within their business the right people to do on the right jobs and how to utilize their technicians better. And even to a certain degree, crossing over between one business and another business in-house. So it might be a body shop that has, 10, 15 sites. The guy sitting here in Norwich could actually help the team that sits in Scotland on doing certain vehicle types without the need to have to get in a van, drive up there, go and help the work, or for that car to then move. So there's many, many ways in which the Jifeline solution can be and is being used today that supports all of the things that you've just said there.
Yeah, and so and let's just we're coming to the end point, Richard. But what would ideally, how would you like to see Jifeline Networks being used across the UK in the future?
I think there's lots of conversations that have happened over the last few probably months in terms of shortage of technicians in the motor industry. That seems to be a key that everybody is talking about and indeed, of course, concerned about. And I think we all have to be concerned about the lack of technicians. The Jifeline system allows that to become less of a problem than it currently is, simply because we are utilizing technicians, no matter where they are in Europe, can be used on any vehicle at any particular point in time. So if you have a fleet operator that's working 24/7, then timescales from one country to the next become irrelevant. So actually the Jifeline solution supports the entire European motor industry in a much stronger way than probably people would realize today without actually fully understanding how Jifeline works. And there's also the opportunity here for anybody in the motor industry to get involved. So, vehicle manufacturers can be involved in this. As I said, specialist organizations like windscreen companies are involved in this. So I think when we look at what does Jifeline need to be or want to be going forward, I think we want to be the enabler to allow, cars to be put back on the road in the way at which they were designed to ensure that there is always safety and those vehicles are always performing as they were designed to be performed when they were manufactured.
Richard, that's a great way to wrap up, and I'm very supportive of your vision. It's really a pleasure to find out more. Thank you for your time today.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you.
And thank you, of course, to Jifeline Networks for joining GreenFleet Talks. That's about all we've got time for. Thank you. Thank you for watching, and please tune in to GF365 again soon.